Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, the 30th of August, and I want to talk about the simplicity of the truth. The simplicity of the truth that we have lost. The simplicity of the teaching of Jesus, which has been lost in, I don't know, ceremonial magic, ceremony, church, all of those things. And it is really that all of those things have put themselves between you and the straightforward truth, between all of us and the straightforward truth. I want to show you this here. Now, the straightforward truth that Jesus taught was, whatsoever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. Which, without moving away from that truth, people like Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy and others have looked at that and they've gone to, feel the feeling of your wish fulfilled. That is actually not moving away from the original truth. There are many things you could say, practices you can do that do not move away from the original truth, but other things did. Ceremonial magic is moving away from the original truth. The church has most certainly moved away from original truth. Any kind of religion has moved away from that truth. And that is that something is putting itself between you and your wish fulfilled. And you must go through them. Yeah? They are the ones that either grant it or don't grant it. And then who gave them that power? You do, if you believe them. You give them that power. So it's things like, again, ceremonial magic. Yeah? You need to have the right formula. Yeah, you need to speak the right words. You have to have the right symbols. You're given power to the symbols and to the words. Yeah? And then if you say it wrong or you I don't know, didn't draw your pentagram properly, it won't happen. Then you're given power to the symbols, which they don't actually have any, unless you give it to them. You don't need any of that. Straightforward, believe that you have received it. So again, things are being made endlessly complicated when it should be straightforward. The church has obviously put itself between you and your wish fulfilled. You must go through them. You're sinful, which is preventing you, preventing from anything from happening. So what? They give you absolution of your sins, and then it will happen. It's actually in the Bible. I want to show you this in a minute. Again, who gave them that power? All the powers of God. We've been given the power of God. We can absolve you from your sins. Yeah, you could do it yourself. Believe on the forgiveness of sin. In the Father, in fact, in the Father, there is no judgment. That's what Jesus said. There is no judgment. The judgment is within you. You are the judge. Then forgive yourself your sins. Well, I mean, if you had any good sense, you would have learned from your mistakes, but even that is not strictly necessary. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you will repeat them, obviously, but other than that, it's not necessary. There's nothing preventing you from asking for something and receiving it. Again, something that puts itself between you and your wish fulfilled. And knowledge. Yes, you must have knowledge. You must know exactly how it works. No, you don't. But that is what is coming now when science is going to elevate itself as the new rulers. Yeah? those that understand the science, that can put it over 3 blackboards. Yeah? Some equation over 3 blackboards. Oh, look how much I know. And they will become the movers based on their knowledge. You don't need to have knowledge over 3 blackboards. You don't. You should have a firm grasp on where it is you're at and where it is you want to be going. Yeah? That is knowledge, but that's the only knowledge you need. I've just been listening to David Icke again and his new favorite, Socrates. Wisdom is to know that we know nothing. Well, that only shows that even Socrates was a human being and could be a bit of a prat on the side. It's wrong. We don't know nothing. We don't know all, because all cannot be known. Nobody does. But we don't know nothing. We know something. We are something. We are not all, we are something. And we know according to ourselves, which means we know something. And that is the foundation from which we go, our knowledge. And again, in the knowledge that will serve you in formulating a desire is the knowledge of what it is, of your own life, of yourself, of what is around you. That is all you need to know to make a hopefully halfway rational decision about what it is you desire. Just based on your own experience. That's all you need to know. So many have said that, humility, to know you know nothing is humility. Actually, it's false humility. Because it's not true. So I wouldn't go with that one. Yeah. Oh, it's Socrates. He was what? He wasn't all either. He was a human being and therefore quite capable of making mistakes. And I think that was a mistake. Do not tell yourself you know nothing, because you know something. And go stand in that knowledge, use that knowledge. Yes, this idea that something puts itself between you and your wish fulfilled. Believe on the forgiveness of sin, and that is not Jesus took away the sins of the world. The only way you can believe that is if you believe in a scapegoat, because that's what he was. That is pure scapegoat thinking. Yeah? You load the sins of the whole community onto a goat and you send it into the wilderness to die. When the goat dies, all those sins are forgiven. Do you actually believe that works? Well, if you don't believe it of the goat, why do you believe it of Jesus? And evidently it hasn't worked. 2,000 years later, it hasn't worked. So forgiveness of sin is within yourself. Forgive yourself your sin. You're free. Move forward. Don't let them hold you back. Learn from them if you can. You should. That's what mistakes are there for. So you learn from them. But other than that, don't let it hold you back. Now this thing, and this is Matthew 15, and that is the conversation with the Canaanite woman. When she comes to Jesus because her daughter is sick, and she goes, "Mercy, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil." So she calls him Lord. It's the first thing. She comes groveling. Yeah? Come groveling. And then when he says, well, this is for the children of Israel, I'm not going to take the knowledge, the bread away from the children of Israel, then she compares herself to a family pet. Yeah, even the dogs under the table get some crumbs. So she's lowering herself even further. And she's not letting go. Yeah. She wants to go to the end, to her wish fulfilled, which is her daughter healed. But she's asking Jesus. Yeah. Again, Jesus is standing between her and her wish fulfilled. And then what Jesus says in the end, that's the thing that really should make you stop. O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. As you think it, as you desire it, so it shall be done. He actually said the same to the centurion. Whose servant was sick. Your faith has healed your servant. In either case, did they need Jesus to tell them that? Did he have to stand there to proclaim it? Yeah? Who gives him the power to withhold or to give? He doesn't have that power. They gave that power to him. They made him the judge. Whereas they could have judged in their own heart and believed. Because it is, in the end, it was their faith. Their thought and their faith that brought it about. In neither case, Jesus said, I did it. He didn't say that. He didn't mention himself. He said, your faith has healed. Your faith is great, therefore it shall be as you think, as he willst. He doesn't even mention himself. So did he even have to be there? He didn't. It's not that he wasn't in a position of power at that moment. He was, absolutely, but only because these people gave him the power. Freely. Instead of believing in themselves and in the truth that he taught, and seeing that in themselves. The thing is, every time something puts itself between you and your wish fulfilled, the church, some, I don't know, yogi or something, some learned wise man, the knowledge of ceremonial magic, anything like that. If you go straight to your wish fulfilled, it is free. The all does not ask for any payment. It gives you, it is pure altruism. That's the only place you can find pure altruism, because it doesn't ask for payment. There will be consequences to your action, yes, but that is just what it is. Everything else wants payment. It wants your obedience. It might even ask for money. And because you think it has power over you, you will pay in order to receive your wish fulfilled, when you never needed them in the first place. Because the truth that Jesus taught was straightforward, free, and within you. Within you. Not something outside of you giving it to you. It is within you. Now, I want to talk, just at the end of this, I want to talk about the feeling of the wish fulfilled. What does it actually feel like? I have, things are moving in my life, actually. Financially, I just had a big payment, substantial enough to make a real difference here. I see shifts in health in some of my family members that I was extremely worried about. But things are moving in the right direction. Things have started to move. And the other thing is, it is not coming out of nothing. The payment didn't come out of nothing. It came from somewhere, but that is cause and effect. Nothing comes, you cannot say it's not a miracle because there was a cause. Everything has a cause. Yeah. Nothing comes out of nothing. So, and now, a week later, that was partly, this is part of my wish that will now be fulfilled. It's not all. I'm not at the end, but I'm on my way. And what does it feel like? After the initial shock, which, yes, I did have to sit down when I realized what had happened. But after the initial shock, the whole thing will level out. What I'm finding myself in right now is a new normal. And that is the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is the new normal. So whatever you visualize and you attach a feeling to that, go past the initial point of triumph or despair. Well, you shouldn't actually visualize something that would cause you despair. You shouldn't. Not if you have sound mind and the choice is yours, then you really shouldn't. Unless you're a masochist, go for it, But other than that, you shouldn't. So not a moment of triumph, not a moment of despair, but being in the wish fulfilled already, living in that wish. And then the feeling will be that it is normal because I've just experienced that. Again, I can now speak from experience, which is the only true knowledge. I can speak from true knowledge. I've experienced the initial shock, the triumph, and now I am in the reality of a wish fulfilled. And it has leveled out. And it is normal. And that is how you should feel about that. That is how you should feel about the entire process. It is normal. It is the truth. Truth doesn't need triumph. Truth doesn't need trumpets. In fact, if there's trumpets, and triumph, you're above where you should be. You should be on the middle line, really. On the middle line, the path of the middle. Neither triumph nor despair. Just normal. Try that when you're visualizing. Just feel that it is completely normal. You are in your new normal. Try that. Anyway, here, folks, I leave it at that for today. But before we can start anything, we need to get away from those that seek to rule over us by making this whole process a lot more complicated than it is. By making it complicated, they assume power to rule over you. They make you dependent on them, on their knowledge, on their power, whatever it is. And you're not dependent on them. You are free to go your own path. There's nothing between you and the wish fulfilled. Nothing. Unless you put it there and you give it power, so don't do it. Anyway, I leave it at that for today. And I talk to you again soon. Bye.